It's good to see you. There's my cat. He's hard to see. Anyway, what shall we talk about this week? I bet you were a very smart child. You probably got moved up a couple of grades, didn't you? I just have this sneaking suspicion about you if you're on this call and you're listening today. Teachers recognized what a bright and precocious child you were, and they weren't going to hold you back. They were just going to move you up a grade. But at some level, we can be moved up too many grades. I don't know, if you took a third grader and moved them up to, say, calculus as a senior in high school, they would really struggle, right? But we even hear stories of, the very exceptional 11-year-old who's going to school at Yale. Got room for my computer now. So it seems as though we end up in the grade where we belong. And the reason I'm using that analogy is that there's many ways to think about our life on earth, obviously. But one way it seems to make sense to me, and you can tell me what you think, is that in addition to all the glorious experiences and adventures of being on earth and all that there is to be said for it, it's also a school. Earth is a school. And in this school, we are all kind of in different grades, but mostly if you end up on this planet, your consciousness is at a particular level where the adventures that we go through in this world are designed to elevate us to higher levels of consciousness. And each and every one of us is going through that. And some of us have moved up a couple of grades. Some of us are stuck in the same grade. Some of us have to return, have the same lesson over and over and over and over again. But be that as it may, we kind of find the level of our current state of consciousness. And at some level, the problems, the challenges, the difficulties, can you relate? Can you relate to that sentence? The problems, the challenges, and the difficulties that seem to be thematic of life and seem to be specifically thematic of your life, well, those are our lessons. And if you were to take a kid in the third grade and give them a lesson plan and their workbooks, and within the first week of school, their lesson plan, their school book was perfect. Everything was filled in, all the answers, there was no erasing. They just knew it all. It would be great, but it would be evident that they were in the wrong grade. They simply know everything about that particular lesson plan. And so an intelligent supervisor, you might say, would move them up to a higher level of understanding where their lesson plan, their workbook would be a damn mess at the start. There would be a ton of corrections. The erase marks would go all the way through the page. There would be great struggling. And then we would realize that this lesson plan was appropriate for this child. But now by the end of the year, in June, when all the kids get let out, their lesson plan would be clean. They would have learned everything. They would be ready to go, and they'd be ready to advance to the fifth grade, so to speak. But this is to remind ourselves that the challenges, problems, and difficulties that we're facing are truly custom orchestrated to our own level of consciousness. By this, I mean, at very deep levels of our being, we are connected to an infinite wisdom that knows the challenges, the problems, and difficulties that are appropriate to us at this level. And our workbook might look really bad. There's a lot of mistakes. We've stumbled in many cases. Maybe we're currently stumbling. It's quite a struggle with our challenges, problems, and difficulties. But when we realize that by passing these tests and learning these lessons, that we will continuously be upgraded to higher and higher grades. Now, in this consciousness school, there are more than 12 or 16 grades. Let's say there's thousands and thousands and thousands of grades. And who knows what grade we're in. We're not in caterpillar grade. We're not in dinosaur grade. Well, some of us are. You know those people. But we are all having the challenges, difficulties that represent exactly where we're supposed to be growing. and they're not accidental. And there's nothing wrong with making mistakes. The problem is making the same damn mistake over and over and over and over again, thinking things are going to change rather than learning. And so our loving higher power is not punitive or mean spirited. It will only deliver the lesson to us as many times as we need it in order to learn and to grow. But once learned, that's in our repertoire. We don't have to revisit it. So this week, we're going to take a look at our challenges, problems, and difficulties that are thematic for us in our life, the ones that seem to be repeating. And we're going to realize that it's a custom designed curriculum delivered by an infinitely loving higher power. And when we learn that, the glory will be done with that, and we'll be advanced to the next grade where we won't have to face that problem ever again. Yes, like which camera is working today. Have a great day. We'll chat about this week. See ya.